Hey guys, Joe here, and here we are for a brand new weapon. Now this weapon that we're going to be talking about is of course the dual Squelcher, and as you can see by stats, it is pretty close to the custom Jet Squelcher, just the Jet Squelcher, but it is a little bit different. As you can see, it has a tiny bit less range, but it does have a lot more fire rate and a little bit less damage, so with this weapon you'll really be wanting to get the ground a little bit. You'll be wanting to just get the points. This weapon overall can shoot pretty far. It does okay damage. This is more of a middle of the road weapon with higher fire rate than it has damage. Overall, it's a pretty good weapon. It does have the splat bombs, which are really bad in turf wars, but are really good in both the ranked modes because you can throw it on top of both the control points in both the types of ranked modes. And then the echo locator, which is once again not way too useful in turf war, but it is once again very useful in ranked because it can tell you where your opponents are. So overall, this weapon is a lot better for ranked, but you can use it for turf war. It's okay. Pretty much close to the dual Squelcher, or not the dual Squelcher, close to the Jet Squelcher, but just a little bit more fire rate and stuff like that. But what I do like with this weapon is, personally, I like to get some of this damage up. Damage up is overall good with a lot of weapons, especially with these Squelchers. They seem to kill in a few less hits, and especially with the splat bombs. If you hit them with a splat bomb, or if you hit them with a bomb, then you can immediately kill them just faster with your damage up, which is overall pretty good. Next, of course, I do Ninja Squid. This does have to get a little bit closer than the Jet Squelcher to hit, so of course Ninja Squid to get close while being a little bit invisible is all the time very good. And finally, Ink Resistance, because once again you'll want to be kind of close. This makes you take less damage, and you go a little bit faster when you are inside the enemy's ink, so overall it's just pretty strong. Let's go into testing this weapon though, so you can exactly see how to play the weapon actually inside the game, other than just talking about it. So as you can see, you know, shoots pretty far. You can see, shoots pretty dang far, and if I can get it over here, kills in about 4 hits, yeah. 4 hits, but if they have been inside of your ink for a little bit, it'll kill in less than 4 hits. So something that I do like to do is either throw out a bomb or just happen to shoot the ground a little bit, and then people stand on it for maybe a few seconds, and then you can just shoot them and it'll kill them in 3 hits. So overall, it's a pretty strong weapon. This is one of the better weapons for ranked, but mainly why it's good for ranked is, of course, this echo locator really makes all the weapons pretty good for ranked, as far as like the NES Zap, and it makes this weapon, and it just makes all the weapons that have it, the echo locator, good for ranked. You only really want 1 echo locator, maybe 2, but if you do have it, it'll give you the upper hand and it'll tell you where the opponent is, and knowing where the opponent is very powerful. But now that I have gone over a little bit about this weapon, a little bit about what it's good at, I will be going into a game where I can show you exactly how I like to use the weapon, and we can be getting into that right now. Okay, so we are back, and now we're inside of a game. Now, some stuff that I want to talk about is that this weapon is kind of like the Jet Squelchers. Well, it's pretty much a Jet Squelcher, but of course it does have a little bit more fire rate. As you can see, the range is pretty good, but a problem about the weapon is that the accuracy is not quite as good as some of the other weapons. It doesn't shoot quite as far as a lot of the other weapons. It's kind of more of a middle of the road weapon. So if you do like to be middle of the road, kind of okay at everything, this is a good choice, of course. As you saw, killed him as fast as he killed me. He was using 52 cal, or gal, so that probably shouldn't have happened. But yeah, this definitely is not meant as a kill thing. But now you can see how useful it is, because I can see where the opponent is. Of course, he's in a friggin' Kraken, though. Yeah, my team killed him right then. But you can really see where your opponents are, and that is just the main uses of this. Just being able to see where your opponents are is essentially the #1 thing I really like to do with this. It's kind of like the NZAP, and might be a little bit better than NZAP because it does have a bit more range. I think it kills a tiny bit slower, but really, killing slower really doesn't mean way too much, especially in this type of mode. But if you're in ranked, killing slower can be kind of bad. You can't just one-shot or kind of two-shot people like you can with the regular or the Cal Jet Squelcher. It takes quite a few shots with this, and your secondary bombs will a lot of the time not hit the opponent because they can't just run away. So it's really, the secondaries are really only good in the ranked mode. Overall, this gun is pretty good for every mode, but it doesn't really seem to excel in, it's like okay at everything, but it doesn't really excel at anything, which can make it either a good or a bad weapon in your guys' opinion. It really depends if you like a do-it-all weapon or if you like a more do one thing but do one thing very good. So this is kind of like a jack-of-all-trades weapon. You can use this in pretty much any game mode. You can do well with it. You can do pretty well. You can just shoot it over the sticking edge, get all that ground over there, come down, kill these people. But yeah, this weapon definitely should not be used to try to kill way too much. It's not really a killing weapon, it's more of a getting the ground and maybe sniping the opponents a little bit weapon, which can make it a little bit annoying because getting kills matters quite a bit in ranked. In this mode, it doesn't matter quite as much. You can kind of just shoot this out and friggin' roll it again. I don't even know how many times I'm gonna get rollered in this game. Their team has 3 rollers or 2 rollers. So, yeah, whatever. But as you can see, we're doing quite well actually still. I'm just going to go over here, and you can get stuff from very far away. This weapon is pretty good in maps like this because you can shoot very far, but it doesn't really cover way too fast. You kind of have to shoot in the same area for a while, and it doesn't really have the best ink efficiency. So one thing that you might also be wanting is like ink saver and stuff, because it does use quite a bit of ink without doing all the ground. But one nice thing that you can do about this weapon is that you can shoot your little super move, or whatever it's called, your special move, and then it'll give you full ink, so you can once again start hitting the ground. So if you run out of ink, you can immediately use your special, and then go for another round of ink, get a lot of the ground. This weapon's more about getting the ground, getting people at middle ranges. Overall, it's a pretty strong weapon. If you want to try it out, I would recommend it. Maybe not as good as the deco version, or the deco version of the regular Jet Squelcher, but overall, pretty good weapon, and definitely worth your time.